Yeah, that's right, folks. It's really 100 miles an hour, at least today, since 6:25 or so when I checked my email. I can't believe that I should admit that. I was in my email during my quiet time this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. Only water. We're having coffee after this. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Friday Fun Day. January 31st already edition. And yes, I feel a little bit less peppy than normal because I'm in a come down after filming all morning. And we'll talk about that when we talk about plan B. So yes, my day has been super focused. And like Carl was telling you all, I do good when I am focused. There is a bit of quiet in me at points. But yeah, let's get ready for today's show. I'm a little behind schedule. Hopefully we're not having tech issues. I see you're all out there. This is wonderful. And let me get a couple sips going here. I have been talking for several hours due to a trunk show Zoom presentation this morning, and boy, it was a lot of fun. I just got the quilts put away. The studio's not all the way put back together. Something very special on the design wall. Ready? I'm gonna just flash you. Whoa, that's a flash. Right back. Don't get too excited. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Folks, my name's Rob Appell. I am a quilt maker for Stitchin Heaven, Quitman, Texas, and I'm incredibly blessed to see all of you out there today. Thanks for joining me for a live show. If you're not part of the 68,000 plus subscribers that are following along each and every day, please make sure you do that. Hit the little notification button. Check that bell so you don't miss anything. I do try to do these live shows on Fridays. Roughly 2 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Hawaii, yeah, you're all out there surfing anyway, so we won't worry about that. I have a little bit of fun with our show and tell today and a little bit of announcements to go through. I also don't want to forget to mention we have a wonderful Facebook group, and I really should be not tattling on myself, but I haven't visited the Facebook group for the sew along in the last couple of days for the mystery quilt. But boy, I know you're also all having a lot of fun out there. So Stitchin Heaven has developed quite a presence on Facebook. We do a lot of different individual groups so that we can stay focused on projects within the group. So if you're not aware, we recently did a New Year's Day mystery quilt along, Tiffany Hayes and myself. It's a tradition now. It's a mystery and it's free to participate. If you want to purchase a kit, well, that's on you. And a lot of folks did. And then we have a Facebook group. And so people are putting up the pictures of their projects. And any rate, yes, Patty, we're going to mention you and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's great to see everybody's out there. If you're new to the show, I don't really look much at the comments until towards the end. I do appreciate you all interacting. I appreciate my ambassador, Carl Sass. Seems to always have the right things to say. He knows me well, so you might be able to trust him or not because he knows me well. That's up to you all. At any rate, it's great to see so many friends in the chat, and I will check in again at the end if you have questions. Make sure I don't miss them, please. And yeah, let's dive into today's show. It's going to be slick. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't have too many different things to discuss today, but I always try to put a link in the description for the things I'm going to show or talk about. I say that, I'm already forgetting one right now, darn it. Anyways, we'll get there. And then, of course, always encouraging folks to sign up at stitchinheaven.com for the newsletter. And that's done for email. So you do get a flash, weekly flash sales that come through. And it's wonderful to see the different things that are happening. And right now, we're really excited to let you all know that we do have early advanced registration open for our Sewing Expo that happens every year. And right now, I don't want to say too much because but it's wonderful. If you've attended, you always come back. If you haven't attended, please consider it. It's generally a 3-day sewing experience where you get to come and put your hands on in vendor booths. It's like a mini quilt market. It's not as crowded as Houston, obviously, but it's a lot of fun, and we have great vendors that are there. Of course, my friends from Benartex were there. Island Boutique was there. Timeless Treasures. Riley Blake was there. Oh, Judelle Niemeyer. We got to hang out with, she was awesome. She was there with the Quilt Works, and don't forget, we do have the Quilt Works experience coming up. I think I'm supposed to talk about that anyways, coming down the road. And while we're on the announcements, I did see some of you talking about the retreat and the trailer. I'm glad the trailer is working before the live show. So yes, here's the announcement. The virtual sew-along, free virtual sew-along, is April 19th, and you can sign up for that at stitchinheaven.com. We're also doing a retreat in August. Do I have the dates? No, I do not have the dates handy, but I believe it is August like 11 through 14 or something like that, 8 through 11, I want to say. So at any rate, the virtual sew-along, we're doing glowing checkered star, and then if you buy one of those kits, you might win a golden ticket. If you win a golden ticket, then of course we're going to cover the registration cost for your wacky, wonderful retreat. That's the one in August. So make sure you sign up for the April event. That's going to be awesome. And that's, like I said, free of charge. Now, what I'm doing, folks, and I don't want to jump ahead because a lot of these announcements are actually part of what I'm so grateful for this week, and they're in the grateful list. But I'll be getting to Texas on Sunday. I'm coming, Mary. I promise. I'm coming for dinner. Getting to Texas on Sunday, and then we're going to put all the last final touches. The pattern is what you're waiting for. All of you want the pattern because it's free and it's not a mystery. There's no reason to keep it from you. But we're going to get to that a little bit later on in the show. I got some of my show and tell. We wanted to mention some of the fun. I was at Road to California last week, and it's a wonderful, long-time standing quilt conference out here in Ontario, California. I've been there several times as an instructor. This time I just went to wander around and look at the beautiful quilts and see my friends, and it was fantastic. So hopefully you've already all enjoyed that video that came out on Wednesday. If not, please do. I've got a couple quick highlights I'll share with you. And next Wednesday, believe it or not, I still need to finish the editing on the video. I want to show you how to make the wonderful little trash bag with a pin cushion, but my pin cushions are a bit deflated. I know they're not very exciting looking. I'm waiting still for my crushed walnut shells, and darn that Amazon delivery. My local quilt shop was all out of the crushed walnut, and the crushed walnut's so important because that's what keeps our pins and our needles sharp when we put them on our pin cushions. So anyways, I'm dying for the last of my supply so I can shoot the last of the video, and that will hopefully be next Wednesday's video on how to make these. Now, this is the upgraded version, folks. This is the manly version, if you ask me. This, I've used zip ties, right? Zip ties, that's right. Here, let me see if I can get you the overhead. Zip ties so it stays nice and square. Keep your trash square, hip to be square. And yeah, I did that with zip ties. Although I can see some possibilities of problems with that down the road. But nonetheless, hopefully that tutorial will be ready for you all next Wednesday. If you weren't aware, we do post a recorded, somewhat polished version of a video on Wednesdays. And love to do these live fun videos here on Fridays. All right, so let's see what else do we have on the announcements boards. Oh, that's right. We have a bunch of really cool cruises coming up. Make sure you're checking our cruise website constantly. It may be too late at this point, but we did have some spaces left on Legacy Quilting Voyage. That's setting sail really soon. So if any of you are already sick of that cold weather at home, you're done with the snow, you just want to get out and go sailing, we've got some great instructors. Jill and Annette will be with you, and we're going all the way through. And I've been on this passage, just awesome. Cozumel, Roatan, and Costa Maya, just fantastic down there in Mexico. Love it. And then also, you know, my friend Tiffany Hayes does a lot of fantastic cruises with us at Stitchin Heaven. And so there's a couple I have here on the board I wanted to mention, which was the Alaska Adventure, where she'll be teaching with Becky Jorgensen. And then, of course, the Oasis of Quilting Cruise. And that's October 18th through the 26th. And she'll be teaching with the certified QuiltWorks instructor, Michael Davidson. He's fantastic. And then coming up, also speaking of great stuff, is the retreats happening very soon. So we have the Big Hooter retreat coming up. And this is really cool. When I was at Road to California a few days ago, like I said, I got this video. Check it out. It's an interesting angle, but it is. It's legit kits. You saw them at Expo. Here they all are on display. Wow, look at the butterfly. Absolutely love these. Legit Kits will also be hosting a retreat at Stitchin Heaven real soon. Don't know the dates right now. That's the whole point. You don't want it to be uniform. Yeah, the Legit Kits are super amazing. I saw that comment down there going down below. And Ingrid, behave yourself, please, today. Yeah, we have this awesome opportunity to come and do one of the Legit Kits. Now, it is foundation machine paper piecing, done in section by section. So it's very much like we teach you from Quilt Works in the concept, but it's just different designs when it's done. And that's the incredible thing about foundation paper piecing is you can come up with these incredible designs, but you're still, folks, just thinking one color at a time, just one piece of color at a time. Maybe something like this. Oh, whoop, did I flash you again? We're going to get back to that. So anyways, now let's see what else we have on the announcements board while we're going through. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I almost skipped right over Nancy Mahoney Spring Retreat. Sorry, she yelled in the microphone. March 26th through 30th coming up. Now this retreat's happening at Stitchin Heaven. Come hang out with us in Texas. It's awesome. We also have a QuiltWorks retreat. This is a QuiltWorks experience. This one sells out pretty quick. Tina, and there's Michael again, will be there. If you haven't signed up, you probably want to consider doing that right away. Tina will also be doing the Cabaret retreat. That's happening May 21st through 25th this year. I'm not sure if there are spaces left, but I just love these projects, so I wanted to show you. Of course, all of this information is available on stitchinheaven.com. We have a wonderful quilted shawl. You know, we have the quilt jackets are so popular right now, a lot of quilted clothing and garment. So Anna Gallen, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Anna, I'm so sorry. But anyway, so she's coming out with these incredible projects she's going to be showing off and teaching. It's going to be amazing, and I'm super, super excited about all of that coming up. Because you know I just love to get out and travel and teach, but really it's not, well, yeah, I do like being on the road. I like the adventure of it. I like to see what happens and what happens. I was going to get into a soapbox. We'll just stop there. But I love being around the people and the interaction and just the laughter that happens, and we'll get amongst our friends and stuff like that. So at any rate, pretty exciting about that. We also have, I like to let everybody know, well, let's start this way. I have been working, and I'm sorry, even this photo is a little out of date, but yes, I'm still working on building out my Nerf gun arsenal. Those are Nerf guns, folks. But if you know who I roll with, Mark the Quilting Marine and Andrew Lee the Combat Quilter. These guys are pretty tough, especially Andrew, that goatee in that picture. Super tough, bro. Anyways, we're going to be doing a fantastic event, Quilting Retreat in Shipshewana, June 8th through 13th. And we most likely will have Nerf gear with us. If you have a Nerf gun, you're welcome to sign up for the Quilting Retreat and join us. It's going to be a blast. You can also see we have tons of other great land-based, if you're a seasick kind of quilt maker like I can get sometimes, or you just like to travel to hotels, or you just want to come hang out. San Diego coming up, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's going to be awesome. And like I said, that's one of the things that really put Stitchin Heaven on the map 20 plus years ago was the adventure travel and cruises, specifically the cruises. And if you haven't met our fearless leader, Deb Luttrell, she loves to go on an adventure, and she loves to provide experiences for folks. So I think that's one of the things she does so fantastically. And at any rate, so let's get through here. I think I've got one. No, folks, this is it. It is time for the grateful list, and I promise not to forget the wall I keep flashing over here. So let's dive into the grateful list. If you're new to the program, the grateful list is all about reminding us all. Now, for me, it's a way to sneak parts of the show together, but it really is important. And I did mention this morning, I got off to a very fast start, and I don't like that. I like to spend time in the morning with a cup of coffee, my Chihuahua named Winston on my lap. I've been reading the chronological Bible. This is my second year going through it. I'm really enjoying that. I like to sit for a good hour if I can, just in the quiet. I happen to have an incredible view that faces out towards the Pacific Ocean. I can watch the sunrise. It's a very special time for me, and every now and again I will accidentally check my email during that time. And so this morning I got an email that started me in a direction that I didn't expect, and that's what we're going to talk about when we get into Plan B. But most of the time in that time, I'm just being grateful. So if you don't know my whole story, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I use quilting as one of my media to keep my hands busy because it's really about being, I'm hyperactive. I've got to be doing stuff at all times. I love making stuff. It makes me feel so good and passionate inside. So building is what I like to do. Making is what I like to do. So quilting is a great resource for me because you can just make quilts, give quilts away. They're beautiful, the color and all that kind of stuff. So at any rate, reminding myself to be grateful daily is important because it helps me stay positive and focused and stay in the present. So here we go with today's grateful list. For the week for me, show and tell. Exactly, that's it. I love seeing all of your show and tells. And if you saw my video about Road to California, I thoroughly enjoyed the show and tell display there with all the quilts on exhibit. But we're going to do your show and tell now here. And Mary, I'm sorry, I was so focused on the things I'll talk about in a few more moments, I didn't get your email until after I had already written the show. So I wrote the show first so that I could do everything else I got to do afterwards this morning. So Mary, next week we'll do your show and tell, but we're going to start right now with Mona's. All right, Mona, congratulations on a beautiful show and tell. She's got there some of her Christmas quilted runners and mats. Aren't those fun? If I remember the email correctly, she said she gave them off to the family because she couldn't get my address correct. She would have mailed them all to me if not. No, I'm just teasing, Mona. Thank you. Those are beautiful. Appreciate you sending those in. And then, of course, always going for show and tell, but that's because we love our very own Carl Sass. Sent this a couple of weeks ago, actually. I've been sitting on some show and tell. He's got a sticker on his sewing machine. He's doing his own free motion machine quilting, and he's got it all wrapped up there and finished. It's just beautiful, and it's just really, really well done, Carl. Nicely quilted. I just noticed a comment about the peak on the board. I actually have my block, my favorite block from the board right now. That little peak, that's a Rob block there, and then here is Patty's block. So there you go, Patty. That is Patty's version. It's her, what'd you call it? Organized scrappy version of this year's New Year's mystery quilt. So super cool. Well done, Patty. And then while I was at Road to California, and I'm really ashamed, I should have, I've got too many slides up today. It's going to be hard for me to bounce around. I apologize to the artist that I have forgotten to give credit to. I forgot to get credit, but this was my highlight quilt so far this year, and maybe best of last year in my personal opinion. Look at this quilt, folks. All right, that's got my wow factor. And those last little blocks are so tiny.
Isn't that crazy?
Super crazy. That is gorgeous. Crazy, right? Crazy. Of course, then I saw somebody had made the guitar quilt, so I wanted to do a show and tell. So I took the picture last week so I could put it up and show folks what I was doing. But then this morning I was actually doing, like I said, a trunk show. So I actually haven't hung it back up. So here's the real life version of the Unstrung Heroes. This is the guitar quilt that I made way back when I was part of Man Sewing. And most of my Man Sewing stuff has been discontinued, but this is one of the only patterns they've allowed me to reproduce myself. And so you can get this one on my personal website. This one's on robappell.com. But this is also a great reminder, folks, of labeling our quilts. Maybe you'd like to see the machine quilting on the back of this. It's a little easier with that dark gray. But I also use my embroidery machine to create a custom label for all of my quilts. Now I cheat a little bit because I make a template. Maybe I can do this. Oops. I was going to put on the overhead camera that I just smacked with the quilt. Let's try that again, team. Doink. Okay, so with the overhead, maybe you can see a little bit better there. So it's like a template. And so yes, I will go ahead and just reprogram the name or the date or whatever into that, change the thread colors. Maybe you can see a little bit more of the machine quilting and the stitching. So when I do my applique of my quilts, I basically just go around the outside edge of all the applique pieces and then fill in the extra free motion work. So that's what that translates like. Okay, so that's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm getting to do some show and tell today too, because I've just been so excited. And like I said, I've been in presenter mode all day, and I don't remember if I shared the final small version of this. So this is the free pattern I'm working on. Okay, so remember folks, I designed fabrics for Benartex, and within that we had New Worlds, that was the first, then Newer Worlds, and Newest Worlds is coming out, but it's not shipping yet. But you can see in my personal stack over here, that, oh, maybe here, can you see it there better? They're just right there. Okay, let me just get away from that camera real quick. So at any rate, so in this stack here, now I've integrated also the Newest Worlds, which were more of like the pastel-y earth tones. And so I think I shared a couple of these blocks. Maybe I shared the whole thing. So this right now is 16 of the squares, and then the whole thing when it's done can be 38 squares, I believe. So it gets pretty big, but this is what you need to be able to see the design. It's obviously a modification of a storm at sea, so I'm calling it offshore breezes, but I'm really pleased with the way the colors come together in this. And so I think I showed it at a distance, maybe. Oh yeah, look here, we're gonna give you a Rob seam. There you go, Team Rob, this is what you deserve right there, Team Rob. I'll point it out. I know, rule 11, I should be shot. Hey, listen folks, not all of my seams are crummy. Some of them are okay, but here's the deal. I'm having too much fun making quilts to worry about going back and taking that one apart. And plus I don't often notice them until I put them on camera. Then I get so embarrassed, my goodness. Anyways, all right, let's move that along the side. And what else do we have to show? Oh, we're in the grateful list. That was just show and tell. And I was starting to talk about in the grateful list is it's Texas time again. So my week has been moving at a very quick pace, and it's been very interesting, and I think the Lord's been working through me because I haven't gotten stressed out, and I'm very prone to doing so. But I didn't find out until Wednesday, 2 days ago, that I'm going to be arriving in Texas on Sunday, which is 2 days from now. And then I also didn't remember or couldn't quite confirm, Sue, if you're watching, I'm so sorry, but there was a mix-up with a trunk show that I'm supposed to do next week on Zoom, fortunately. So I'm not double booked, but and it's an early flight because we booked the flight so last minute to go to Texas. So I have to get up at 3:30 in the morning, and I just didn't feel like dealing with 100 pounds of quilt. So that's what's building up towards plans B. But I'm so excited to be heading back to Texas again, folks, because I love being out there. I get to go see all my friends, but we are so excited about some of the things we're working on. And I've been promising for all of you that we're going to do this fun scrap game, right? Or something like that. So my third grateful list portion, it was grindstone, if you were looking closely. And if you can call this a grindstone, please do. This has been a really fun therapeutic week of building out. There's the one I said I liked so much, right? This is the build out of some scrappy blocks. And I want you to look carefully real quick. I'm going to give you this information. I'm going to give it to you again in a minute. And these are not, folks, this is not the official starting of what could be really fun. I am working with my friend Tiffany, and we want to do some really great, like, no pressure sew along kind of stuff where you can just do it at your own pace. Help us work through some of our orphan blocks, some of our scrap materials, as well as learn about the color wheel, learn about design, learn about modifying quilt squares and patterns. And so if you look closely, this block, if I remember correctly, is from last year's New Year's Day sew along. This block this block and this block are from this year's New Year's Day sew along. They were already free patterns, so I'm redeveloping the free patterns so that everything finishes on a 4.5 inch square, so that it can either be done large like this as a 4.5 inch square, or broken apart to get more pieces so that we can use up more of our scraps and play with more color. If you look close on the design wall here, well, let's do it this way. We're live. We can have some fun here today. I just don't want to lose my place. Okay, so let's start with this one here. There, that's just a fun little, and it's mostly half square triangles. This is that same house block down here. It's kind of hard to see. But when you look at this, it doesn't look very scrappy. Now here's the exact same block with the exception of the corners, because I realized at the end that I didn't have the right corners made. So I just did my own thing. And folks, that was magic. Doing my own thing right then and there felt so good. So not only did I feel like the block is actually more attractive, more patchwork, right? Same concept. I chose a color, but I just like it. It just feels more quilty to me, right, than this one does. I will use them both in the quilt because when it's all done, I just want to make a bunch of scrap blocks that can be assembled. And what I'm going towards is something that I can offer each week where we can technically, and then here we go, working on the projects. And I think Friday Fun Day is often enjoyed. I hear you all say that you like it when you get deep inside the brain. What's going on and how is he working? What is he really doing here? So I've been developing the game so far, and I would have been ready today, but like I said, my day shifted a bit. So this is going to be the piece of wood that will be cut before the end of the weekend that goes on the back, because right now the old piece of wood, it does make it kind of fun because we can do our game spinner this way, right? Watch this. This is great. Now I know the rotary cutter is going to stay at the bottom, but at the end things kind of shift around and do different stuff, right? And so there we would have whatever color we're going to have. So that could be fun, but I do want to mount it here so that we can just go ahead and do like a spin, and we'll get a spin. It'll tell us what color we're going to have. Did we just get a liner? We just got a liner. I can't believe that. We got a liner. Anyways, so we're going to figure out what color family we're going to work in, and then we're going to have the patterns. As you can see, here's the patterns. You'll be able to download these once I erase all my notes, right? So here's the patterns as I'm working on them, and you recognize some of these. They'll all be free. There's the one we were just talking about. And then we'll take these die, and we'll roll a die, and we'll get a number, right? Okay, and that would be the number, whatever number it is, 5. Why does it keep coming up on 6 and 5? Is it loaded? There's a 1. So we'll number the pages, and then we'll have a that'll tell us which pattern for the week. We'll have a week, and then we'll roll this crazy die here, and it's got 20 different things on it. Can I zoom in? Anyways, it landed on a 19. So I grabbed a die that has 20 numbers, thinking that could be the amount of fabrics we could use, right? So if we get a 1, we'll do a re-roll, because nobody wants a 1 quilted block or 1 fabric quilt block. But wouldn't that be awesome? So then that's why you would be inspired, because if you had 20 fabrics, you could do this version. But if you truly landed on a 3 fabrics, right, you could do this version, okay? And then when it comes to how to break up those colors, if I had 20 fabrics and this is going to be a 3-color block, well, maybe I got to choose like 6, 6, what am I at, 14? Excuse me, that's 12 and 8, so maybe I chose 8 different yellows and 3 pinks and 3 greens is basically what I did, something like that. So that could work. And again, the rules can be broken because it's just a way to work through our projects. But the fun will be, hopefully, that when it goes back together, we can just, however the blocks go, right? But what I'm learning already in this is that I don't love all of my color choices. I think there's really something we can learn here, folks, because not all of these blocks are awesome. This one I really worked hard because I was realizing that they weren't all winners. This one I think is pretty good. I do like this one a lot, right? But this one just gets muddy, right? That was too many, and I was using up some old pieces. That's not even one of our patterns. So within the quilt itself, it's okay, but as an individual block, it didn't read terrific. And I think this is where we can all benefit by actually using our color wheel. So I'll have another color wheel that we can reference, because I think using things like monochrome, if we do a 1 color, that could be a good thing with enough fabrics in it could be interesting. But like most of the time, we're going to want to use complementary colors, which are going to be opposite on the color wheel from each other. A triad, you know, which I believe is represented in this block here, is really a good representation of the triad, where this is more of the complementary color here. So working those together, I think, can be an amazing learning lesson for us all, especially I'm hoping for myself. So that's where I want to go with this. If you think it's going to be awesome, please let us know in the comments below. Comment today, comment on the recorded version. Let us know if you have any other ideas. I need to write it all up and get in an actual proposal so that I can get all of the patterns and everything uploaded to Stitchin Heaven's website, and we can make an organized maybe landing page for it, and that we could, what I would really like to do, I think this would be the best fun of it, I did say it, but anyways, would be to build a Facebook page around it. So then we could all share each week the blocks that we make so easily on the Facebook page, just like we do with our mystery quilt blocks or our mystery quilts all year long through the New Year's Day mystery. So this is where I think it'd be really great, because I love that camaraderie that goes on, and I love seeing everyone else's color choices and everyone else block construction. That's so fun to see the way it comes together. It's so inspiring. So I think this would be just a fun way. But again, I'm just feeling like things are moving a little fast right now. And so I don't really want to be trying to either design so many projects that you feel like they're being crammed down your throat, or be cramming so many projects down your throat that I have to keep designing more and more faster. Right now, and if you remember, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm just a few days away from my 13-year anniversary. And as that month of February rolls around, I do get kind of focused in and often remind myself I must slow down a little bit, because if I run myself ragged, my brain goes so fast, and that's what I used to try to mask with the alcohol itself. So it's easier for me to try to maintain a healthy pace so that I don't feel like I'm going off the rails as much. Maybe that helped some of you out there today. Not sure. Anyways, okay, so what I like to do real quick, other than get a quick sip of water, is I want to check your comments. And if you have questions that I've missed, which I probably will at this point, please retype them now so that they're at the bottom of the feed. I'm going to go through real quick, make sure I've used, excuse me, I'm starting to read comments already. Make sure that I've seen all the comments that I need to. I really wish there was a way I could monitor the comments while I was doing this, and or come back and see all the interaction after the video. I don't see that as often. Anyways, all right, so first, good, we're all checking in with the weather. Hopefully you all enjoyed your show and tells, because I saw you were out there today. Always good to drink water. I'm telling you, that's for sure. You can hear my voice needs it now. I've been yelling all morning. So, I didn't finish. I was getting ready to sign off, and I didn't finish on the whole thing about the grateful list and Plan B. Let's get back to that. But let me just check the comments, because I said I would. October Quilt Camp. Oh, okay, Deborah Brown's coming. I like October Quilt Camp. Yes, zip ties. Awesome in the pin cushions. No, Legit Kit's not really small. Did you hear they were on Shark Tank? They're doing amazing. Oh, and the quilts themselves are amazing. Oh, Mary's learning free motion. Oh, Mary, the only suggestion I can really help offer for getting more even or consistent stitches within your free motion is to practice. However, I know that sounds a little bit generic. Let's talk about practice. Free motion stitches. It's hand movement versus machine movement. I used to tell everybody to run the machine fast, because it's easier to move the quilt if the needle's moving fast. And it is, but then it's harder to control your movements of the quilt. A lot of folks will recommend that you practice about 15 minutes a day as a warm-up while you're learning machine quilting and building and building and building. I recommend using a little bit of music so that you get a rhythm, so that you're not trying to create everything out of the blue or on your own. I am also now recommending slowing the machine down a little bit But if you're slowed the machine down and you feel like you're waiting for it or getting clunky stitches, that's the point, and maybe that's where you're at right now, Mary, where you want to increase the speed a little bit on the machine itself. Hopefully that'll help. Come take a quilting class from us. Maybe we can help with that. Thank you for the compliments, everybody. I am reading them. I really appreciate that. Okay, looks like everybody's in for the scrap quilting. All right. Okay, so I do think that I left off and almost left you hanging, folks, because I am, like I said, feeling a little bit disorganized mentally. And yeah, plan B, go with the flow. What are you going to do? So I was starting to mention that the day started about 6:15 with an email. What happened was months and months ago, I agreed to do a Zoom trunk show for a group, as I often do, and they're wonderful fun, and I've actually set up my studio here, so it's very great to do them within. I've got the lights right, I've got a nice place to stand, I figured it out, and it's fantastic. Well, I had the opportunity to go to Texas this week, and I've had this Zoom on the calendar, but I had not been able to get a hold of the original person that reached out to me. We'll just call her Sue for lack of better term. So anyways, Sue sent an email this morning and said confirming that you'll be on Zoom on Tuesday. And because it's a Zoom, of course I can be, and because the timing worked out for what I was doing in Texas, of course I can be. But here was the situation is, I do a real trunk show on the Zoom thing. I normally show, a bunch of quilts and tell 45 minutes worth of stories and all that, but it's roughly 70 pounds of quilts, and traveling to Texas with that much gear at 3:30 in the morning just seemed like more than what I really wanted to do. Well, recently I've been reaching out or been contacted by more and more guilds, especially to do Zoom kinds of events, right? It's a great way for us to talk about all the offerings at Stitchin Heaven. It's a great way for me to reconnect with new quilters, share where my videos are going to be, promote up and coming projects, right? It's awesome, awesome, awesome. We love Zoom. And so anyways, we had the idea this morning is why not set up the full show today and film it, record it, and we'll do multiple camera angles so that we can do that's the disadvantage. When I normally do a Zoom, I can't control the cameras. I just stand there with just the quilt, and maybe I can move it a little closer, but I can't ever really see what you can see, right? I don't have the switchboard because this is not Zoom, right? We're watching this on YouTube. And so at any rate, I had my friend Ed come over and he shot some really nice close-up shots while I'm talking. The whole thing's microphoned, all the lights are right. So I do need to spend a lot of time editing that this evening. But now the great thing is I think it will be a much better show. I will be able to sit and look at the comments like this. Remember, I just said I missed being part of the interactivity of the live events when we're on virtual conferences like this. And so anyways, I think we figured out something awesome. So I feel like I saw that email this morning and thought, oh no, I sure don't want to take those quilts all the way to Texas if I don't need to. And within about 30 minutes, I thought I'm just going to email, we'll just call her Sue. And I'll email Sue and say, hey, do you think it'd be appropriate? And so she said that would be just fine. And so now at the end of the day, I'm like, of course, Rob, this is going to make a much better presentation portion of the Zoom anyway. So I'm so excited, and that was my plan B, but my whole kind of week has been falling together that way. And I think that when it comes back to our conversation, when it comes back to scrap quilting, I think scrap quilting is a lot of a plan B, right? These are the parts that were left over. These are the parts that were cut but not used. These are the parts that were made as test pieces, as some of you might have seen way back when. So this isn't part of one of the patterns, but I had a 4-inch square, 4.5-inch square that I had already made. So save your orphan blocks. This was an orphan block that I just decided to put into the center. Some of you saw how to do square in a square recently. These were orphan blocks from that video. So at any rate, it's just really, really fun. You of course can make any blocks you want as long as they can all line back up together on the grid that we're making. So plan B, I have a plan A right now for a project, but plan B is often what happens, right? What was it? Was it John Lennon that says life is what happens when we're busy making plans, something like that? So anyways, I thank the good Lord for having my back and always giving me, as it says in Ephesians, a great path to walk forward along that he has predestined for me to do good works. Hopefully I'm doing those good works. All right, let's check out the rest of your comments, and I am out of here. I'm dying for that coffee, and I know I've gone long today. I am coming to land. Oh, no, I am personally, Wilma, I'm not personally coming to Lancaster, but Stitchin Heaven is. We'll be doing a Land Ahoy event, and all of the information is on stitchinheaven.com under events and then Land Ahoy. Would a stitch regulator help Mary with her free motion work? No, not usually. Not on a domestic machine anyways. Stitch regulators on most machines are actually stitch reactionary devices. They're going to make the machine react to your movements. So let's just say Mary, well heck, I've met Mary. She's completely erratic. She's all over the place. So her stitching must be as well. Love you, Mary. You know I'm just playing. But so let's say she is, like my conversation, everywhere. Well, no regulator is going to be able to regulate it. It might jump a little bit less, but it's still going to show big and small. And on domestic machines, when you're doing regulated stitches, it's like you're waiting for it and it's tacking and these things. Really the best is to be able to develop that pat your head and rub your tummy mythology. But remember, please focus on the foot speed first and then develop the hand speed so that you're not racing the machine. You're just keeping the machine at a constant. And that's why machines that have speed, not stitch, but speed regulators, something I can slow the machine or speed the machine up. So I'll often slow the machine all the way down so then I can put all the gas completely on the foot pedal. Therefore, I'm not adjusting my foot up and down. I'm just turning the machine on. Then the machine is constantly running, but not tacking. It's running. But the moment I take my foot off, it stops, and I don't have to find some magic button. So you can tell I'm not a huge fan of stitch regulators. Good comments, folks. Thank you for being out there. Thank you. All right. Okay, I don't feel like I'm missing any questions. If I missed your question, I'm so sorry, folks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing off that 13 coin. We'll be working on that video too, coming up real close. Okay, I think we've covered our bases, folks. Thank you so much again for being here on a fantastic, fabulous Friday Fun Day Live. Make sure you are signed up for the newsletter at stitchinheaven.com. Make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube. Make sure you're hitting the little bell to be notified every time we go live. Smash the like button. That really helps. If you really want to help our channel grow, you could go back and watch this video again, or at least start watching it and place a new comment, because really it's the comments that show YouTube that people are being active or engaged with the videos. So that always helps us. Don't forget to keep your fingers crossed that Amazon delivers the magic walnut shells so we can finish next week's video, and we will see you all real soon, folks. Thanks again for being here. Until I see you next time, please stay well. This is for you, Andrew.